Alright, welcome to the end of week 1 and the beginning of week 2 as it concerns the Brewmaster Monk and my inner drunken fist as we venture forth to the hero achievement for dungeons for this season 4 of Shadowlands. God, what else goes in an intro? Like, share, sub, and leave a comment if you would like for anything to change, even though it probably won't. Anyways, so let's get down to brass tacks and see exactly what we've accomplished this week. First off, after we did our minuscule amounts of gearing prior to the season launching, I mentioned I had some plans. Plans to do normal with my guild, and then heroic after that at some point. Both of those have mostly been accomplished. The guild did successfully complete normal Nathria. It wasn't very difficult. Even in my undergeared tank, I was able to successfully tank the majority of that raid as an off tank with my main guild leader, whom in this video you'll see as Mr. Juicy Fruit. He is main tanking for us. The following day after we completed that normal, I did 3 dungeons. Kind of 4, but actually only completed 3. So, we did Mechagon Junkyard +2, because I kind of just wanted to see where my tank was feeling baseline. And that went really well. We 3-chested that. That was no problem. I'm sure the bots had something to do with it because those shock bots are OP AF still. And I'm totally fine with that. After that, I went and did a +2 upper Karazhan. And let me tell you, that hurt a lot. Not only that, but I might have joined a group that I probably should have looked more into, because they weren't exactly doing a ton of damage, and that made things a lot more difficult. And we didn't end up even completing that one in time at all. It took us 45 minutes to do that +2. That was no bueno. And I didn't get anything out of that. Out of that +2 junkyard, I did get a cloak, but I ended up replacing that soon after. After that, I did a +5 return to Karazhan lower. This one we didn't complete because our healer decided not to come back after we failed on Ottoman, and I'm going to be looking a lot more closely at my healers from now on because he just wasn't that good, which is fine. I just kind of want people who are going to be able to complete keys. So following that, the majority of the rest of the group, they were really good sports about it. They stuck around. We completed +4 return to Karazhan lower in 30 minutes and 23 seconds as a +4. It also helps that I took the right path that time, because the first time I went up the stairs and I went left and got to the end of the thing, and I'm like, there should be a staircase down here. And then I'm like, oh, it's on the right, so never mind. And out of that one, I luckily got my Bisque cloak, which is this one from Maiden of Virtue. It is the Drape of Shame, which was kind of what I was feeling after that failure of a +5, but less so after the +4 and 2-chesting it, because I felt less like it was my fault that we failed the 5, which would have been really embarrassing because I need to get +15s or +20s in every single dungeon that is out. And that's going to be really hard if I'm already struggling on a 5. Granted, I'm still undergeared. But anyways, so following that, I suppose I should actually talk about all the gear I got out of normal Nathria. Standby. So out of normal Nathria, the first drop that we got was a Barghast's Leash. That is a 278 Faded Trinket, which has a usually very useless effect. It was not useless this time for me, but not in this raid. We'll get to that. We'll get to that. Following my Barghast Leash, I got nothing from Hungering, and then from Enerva Darkvein, I got a 278 hand, which, while not great for stats, will work for an eye level boost that I was sorely needing. Where I got my last piece for the night was from Stone Legion Generals, and I got a Stone Legion Heraldry, which isn't the worst drop I could have gotten in the world. It's not the best, it's not what I'm hoping for, but it is good enough for quite a while, and it gives me a solid boost to my stats, which I desperately will probably need that versatility, because I'm still pretty squishy. So, following that, I took a few days off, and then I decided on Saturday, out of the blue, to just pug a heroic Nathria. Now, it was not what I would call a smooth tanking experience. I would barely call it a doable tanking experience. I was about, let me see if I can find a reference. It was barely a doable tanking experience. I was 254 item level. 254 going into this heroic that drops like 290 gear. That was not smooth. And my stagger was regularly in the orange or the red. And I was using every trick I could think of to keep it down, because otherwise, between the boss's hits and my stagger, I was spiking pretty hard on some of these fights. But I made it through Sludge Fist. And I figured at that point, if I could make it through Sludge Fist, I could probably make it through the rest of this. And then we got 2 Stone Legion Generals, we wiped once, and everybody left. And so the tank that had taken over as raid lead had decided, I'm just going to call it there, that's probably fine. And I did not get another swing at Daddy Nathrius, unfortunately, because I was really hoping to get that head from Daddy Nathrius. Know what I'm saying? Yeah. But even with all of that, it still secured me 8 heroic slots, which is 3 full gear slots in the vault at heroic level. Unfortunately, none of the raid slots were useful. I could have upgraded Barghast Leash to 291, but thought, it's not that good of a trinket once I actually have gear and don't need to pawn 25% damage reduction off on my co-tank. The other items I got, the Hateful Chain is just not that good of a trinket, and the Mantle of Manifest Sins would actually just be a downgrade from my cloak because it has the wrong stats. So in the end, I was lucky and I got a 278 headpiece from Mythic Plus out of my vault, which was in fact quite helpful because it gets another 233 piece off of my character, and once I've upgraded it enough, I can just turn it into tier. I could do it now, but one, why when I can keep upgrading it and then do it? And 2, I don't really need that glove slot yet because I'm not anywhere close to actually unlocking Unity. Because dailies. Dailies to Revered is probably the most oppressive experience that this game has to offer right now. And I'm gonna be real with you, Unity, not that important. I might still get it eventually, but I'm not that concerned about it right this second. So I guess we'll see if I decide to go for it. I already have all the materials I would need. I just need to actually get done the rep, and I don't want to. So that's where we are left for this week. As of recording this, it is Tuesday, and I'm about 2 hours out from starting Sanctum with my guild, which should be fun. I need to go figure out how to tank those bosses because I don't know. The extent to which I've done Sanctum was as a DPS through normal Sylvanas, and I think that's kind of it. So that's where I'm going to leave you for this week. Be sure to check out my stream on Saturday, I think is when I'm going to stream next. I'll be streaming keys. I want to get up to doing plus 10s or plus 11s this week, just so I can start actually getting into real key levels this week for, you know, just trying to get that initial gear out of 233, because that was that hurts when you're still in the 230s to 250s on an item level. Now that I'm kind of out of that little rut and I'm almost basically up to an appropriate gear level to actually be doing Mythic Plus, it should be quite good. So feel free to check me out over on twitch.tv/storytimejosh, or I will be also streaming here on the YouTube channel Storytime Josh. That'll be Saturday sometime. I don't know exactly when, but just subscribe and you'll know. Make sure you hit that bell icon. And yeah, I guess I'll see y'all next time. Peace.